Hampton Roads has a long-running high school and college sports tradition. It's time to give them the spotlight they deserve. This is 757 Sports Talk. Here are Matt Hatfield and Coach Ed Young.
Good Saturday morning to all of you out there, and welcome to another edition of 757 Saturday Sports Talk on CoVA Sports TV. Like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Wherever you are tuning in, you're more than welcome to interact with us each and every Saturday morning. I am Matthew Hatfield. My cohort is a little tardy. He's having some technical issues with his computer. Maybe he threw out the window and has decided to buy a new one. So we may see him before the show ends. We may not. Time will tell. But as always, we encourage you to hit that like button, hit that little bell on YouTube. That's where you subscribe and you can get notifications when we go live and anything goes live on CoVA Sports TV, and share it with your friends, your family, your family's friends, and your friends' family, and anybody else that might be a neighbor or compadre out there. But a lot happening in the world of sports as we bid good morning to all of you out there, including our buddy Keith, who gives us one letter for G, which I'm taking it as good morning. A lot going on. We'll be joined by a special guest at the top of the 11 o'clock hour. We're slated to hear from Roland Wright. He's the head baseball coach of the Western Branch Bruins, who are no newbie, no stranger, if you will, to success when it comes to the playoffs in spring sports, as a lot of teams are in regionals. A lot of schools had graduation this week. Roland is a graduate of Great Bridge High School in Chesapeake, but he's coached at Western Branch for a couple of decades now with over 300 victories in his career, a couple of state titles, 4 state championships, and Western Branch is currently sitting at, I believe last check, 16-5 overall on the diamond, and the number 1 seed in Region 6A, where they are in the semifinals after ousting Oscar Smith in the regional quarterfinals. Still waiting to see how that bracket shakes out. We've had a couple of sizable or significant upsets, we could say, if you will, on the baseball front, with First Colonial, a reigning champ in Class 5, going down in the first round to Kempsville. They've been arguably the top team in the area all year long. And then Menchville, another high seed, number 2 seed in Region 5B, going out as they were knocked out by Kickitan, the number 7 seed in a high-scoring affair, 9-8. We think of Menchville's baseball program on the peninsula, much like we think of First Colonial on the beach, as a regular perennial contender, and they got beat in a high-scoring affair, 9-8. So they are not going to be in the semifinals of Region 5B. Instead, it's going to be Kickitan Warwick, an all-peninsula district semi. The other semifinal, Maury and Bethel, that's in 5B. And we'll go through some of the brackets as time allows this morning and give you some more info, if you will, some of the intel on how some of the schools are doing in the spring sports. There's also not just baseball, but you got softball, you've got lacrosse, you got soccer, a lot happening, track happening all over the place too in the sporting world. We're going to hear from Colin Selby, who caught up with our man Jack Lowe of CoVA Sports TV. Colin, a member of the Norfolk Tides, pitcher for them, who once starred at Western Branch. That'll be coming up as we get ready to talk to Roland Wright at the top of the hour this morning. A lot going on. Ed is still in mourning, by the way, with his Bronx Bombers going down on Friday night to the evil empire of the West. They're the evil empire of the East. Home runs galore. Aaron Judge hit one out. Shohei Ohtani hit one out again. He's been knocking them out of the park every first inning, it feels like, for the last 12 games. But the NHL Stanley Cup Finals are set. It's going to be Edmonton versus Florida, a rematch from last year. The NBA Finals could be set after tonight. Pacers hosting the New York Knicks in a key Game 6. If they don't put them away, game number 7 back at the Garden. That's Madison Square in New York City. And you've got tennis going on. You've got the French Open. You see it with Sabalenka. You see it with Swiatek. A lot happening there. So we'll go over all those great things with you all this morning here and let you interact with us. You'll hear another one of our high school football sound clips as we're bringing you interview after interview, leading you up to the start of high school football in August. It'll be here before you know it, just a couple of months away. Hard to believe, right? Yeah, hard to believe, but we've been throwing some clips up for you all to hear the last few shows. We didn't do one last week. We skipped it. But we had Lonnie Andrews III of Oscar Smith a couple of shows ago, and Joshua Pittman of Kings Fork, who's committed to Virginia Tech. We'll give you a Beach District player today. Give you a couple of Southeastern. We have some more Southeastern players coming. Don't worry. We'll sprinkle in an Eastern District player. So a lot happening on that front. Ed's giving me all these messages. If he's watching the show on stream right now, I don't know why he's having me troubleshooting. Why don't you shut down your computer and restart? That's the easiest way to get your audio issues working. I don't know why your microphone isn't working, whatever it might be. So, yeah, a lot happening in the world of sports, and we'll get your chance to interact with us and tell us what you think, ask any questions you may have, and we'll get it all rolling here after a quick word from the sponsors that make it possible for us. Stay tuned. You're watching 757 Saturday Sports Talk on CoVA Sports.
James Catato tells us tonight there's a new team making new noise in the USL2 scene on the other side of the water.
Something special is brewing inside the walls of the Virginia Beach Sportsplex.
We're not here for moral victories. When we're on our day, we're a legit team.
See the stars of the future in pre-professional action at the Virginia Beach Sportsplex. This combined season ticket special is for men's and women's. That's 15 games for just $100 for adults and $80 for youth. VBU has a brand new women's team that competes in the W League. Soccer fans, it's time to rally behind Virginia Beach United. Tickets are on sale now. Visit vbunited.com. Don't miss out on Virginia Beach United.
As a banker at Town Bank, we believe that people bank with people, not with banks. You're looking for an actual personal relationship, and that's what you get at our bank. You get that person that gets to know you, gets to know your business, is there for you. I think that is what motivates us, what drives us. And the idea that we are trying to serve others and enrich lives, I think is very true.
Hi, this is Wayne Williams of Williams Deloach. I'm an experienced personal injury attorney, and I hope you don't need my services because I certainly don't like to see people injured on a daily basis. But in preparation for that unfortunate situation, your insurance coverage is very vital to your case. Give me a call today. I'd be happy to discuss your insurance situation for you and your family. That's the most protection you have, and you want to have that ahead of time.
Well, it's everybody's favorite time of year again. Time to prepare to make your annual donation to that infernal revenue service. And if you're like me, you need help. Help to keep that donation as small as possible. You need John Maynard. PFP, LUTCF, EA, all those initials behind his name mean he's qualified to work on your taxes. He's an ATA, accredited tax advisor. He's an ATP, accredited tax preparer. He's a fellow at NTPI, the National Tax Practice Institute. And if all that weren't enough, he's also been voted the best of Norfolk and the best of Virginia Beach awards. John Maynard has been professionally trained in tax preparation and representation. He brings to the table over 30 years' experience in federal and state returns. He delivers personalized, one-on-one service, and he's a certified electronic filer. The IRS likes electronic filers. So get off your W-2 and call John Maynard at John's Tax Service, 455-6763.
At Atomic Wings, we prioritize real chicken with fresh, all-natural, never-frozen ingredients, all packed with serious flavor. Order from over 15 awesome flavors at atomicwings.com.
Hampton Roads has a long-running high school and college sports tradition. It's time to give them the spotlight they deserve. This is 757 Sports Talk.
Usually it's Hatfield. That's why I try to tell everybody, get on Hatfield. He is the legal scribe, the talking head that knows all this, puts the whammies on. We do things different on this podcast. That's why we're rated number 3 in the state.
You got Play-Doh? Get out of here! We got people all over the globe watching with us. Sitting in a phone booth with you would be very...
well, no, we got to have your own phone booth. I'm not sitting in no phone booth with you.
It is 757 Saturday Sports Talk here on CoVA Sports TV. Like, share, and subscribe.
Do you have a driver's license?
It's suspended.
Did you have a good license on that day that you drove the car?
I did not.
Why was it suspended?
I have unpaid parking tickets, and I failed to appear court.
On whose car?
I'm sorry?
On which car did you have unpaid parking tickets?
Before I was be able to drive.
What?
Yeah, I had a license before when I was driving.
I asked you on what car did you have parking tickets?
On my mom's car.
That's a lie. They wouldn't suspend your license if you had parking tickets on your mother's car.
Yeah, because I failed to appear court.
What difference does it make? They were parking tickets. It goes to the car, not to the driver.
Well, that's
Nah.
what it is.
Hampton Roads has a long-running high school and college sports tradition. It's time to give them the spotlight they deserve. This is 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Here is Matt Hatfield.
And welcome back to 757 Saturday Sports Talk on this final day of May, the year 2025. Hit us up on the YouTube channel. We are on CoVA Sports TV all the time, streaming on YouTube. Drop us a line, drop us a question, drop us a thought, and you can interact with us this particular morning. Do or die for the Knicks. Bill Walcott says up there on Facebook, it is do or die for them coming up. Bill, I'll give you a little couple of thoughts on that in a little bit here on the program. We've got Roland Wright at top of the hour, as he mentioned, Western Branch baseball coach. Our man Jack Lowe wanting to know, and you'll hear from Jack, his conversation with Colin Selby of the Norfolk Tides, who once played for the Bruins. Where is Ed? Nobody knows. He's bashing and smashing computers right now, Jack. In fact, you just saw Judge Judy. Love these little TikToks that are all over the web. People are seeing them with the animation, the kids. You'll see one coming up with Charles Barkley that we love too. I would love to get one of Ed on his rants. I don't know if our technologically savvy team can put that together, or if someone can tell us how you think Ed would deal with Judge Judy or even Judge Joe Brown. Remember Judge Joe Brown, Judge Mathis? I think Ed would vibe with Judge Mathis. They'd be all right. They'd be cool. But Judge Joe Brown or Judge Judy would probably throw Ed in court. He'd get contempt of court. He would not last long with those two. I'd give him maybe 4.5, 5 minutes tops. Would not last long. He would be in for some serious trouble. And speaking of serious trouble, we always love our man Keith out there who wants to know about the Smithfield Packers softball team, not softball team, softball team. I think we'll know about the baseball team too. Well, ask Keith and you shall receive. We'll give you stuff right away here on this program, which is what we love to do. Oh, there it is on the screen. That is courtesy of Max Preps. The Region 4A softball bracket over at Stony Run Field coming up on June the 3rd. And that's going to be on Tuesday, as I check my calendar. They're the number 4 seed after a smashing manner, 20-0. They'll take on Gloucester, a heavy favorite in that region. War Hill is going to take on Churchland in the other game at Stony Run Field on June the 3rd. And then they have the championship coming up on June the 5th over there in Region 4A. So there you have it for that. As far as the baseball goes, for the Smithfield Packers, who are still in contention game today. I think it got moved, in fact, as we look at the bracket there. The 1 seed is Hampton, who had a great year under Matt Mitchell. They just renamed over there, gave Danny Mitchell the Hall of Fame, I should say, not renamed, gave him the Hall of Fame salute, which was great there for Hampton High School. I love what they're doing there. Justin Vias, the AD, and they're going to take on Denby Jamestown winner. Bottom of the bracket, you've got Gloucester awaiting the Churchland Smithfield winner, and they play today 1 o'clock over at War Memorial Stadium. So there you have it with those two. But the ones that really caught my eye, I mentioned it earlier with Region 5A. I have a frog that just came in my throat. Is you've got no First Colonial, champ last year, and now we wait to see what's going to transpire in that region, where we've had another team out of the Beach District make some runs through the state playoffs and deep in the tournaments. And of course, that team being the Cox Falcons. So a lot going on the high school front with the spring sports, with the baseball, with the lacrosse, with the soccer. I know girls soccer, Great Bridge beating First Colonial in a big quarterfinal there. That was of major note and consequence. But the upset with Kickintan knocking out Menchville, that was a bit of a stunner to say the least. You got Maury, who took down Nansemond River in 5B. They're looking like a heavy favorite now to win that region with Menchville out of the way. And in Region 3A baseball, New Kent's the number 1 seed. They beat York with no problem, 6-1. You've also got in that region, besides New Kent, Grafton, who shut out Lafayette 10-0, looking like a formidable team that can go pretty far. And I would also keep an eye on Tab, who shut out Lakeland 5-0. So those are 3 teams from the 757. Colonial Heights beating Hopewell in its quarterfinals. So they'll take on New Kent in the semis coming up on Tuesday. We're going to have a conversation coming up next week with Michael Kadire, former standout in Chesapeake, Great Bridge High School. He's got his son, Casey, who's a shortstop who is headed to UNC in the ACC. And they have the All-Tidewater Baseball Classic that's coming up. I think it's a week from Monday at War Memorial Stadium. I think it's June the 7th or it might be June the 9th, rather. June the 9th. We'll be chatting with Michael Kadire about all of that. So, yeah, that's on the docket, and we will discuss that as that's an event with all the seniors in Hampton Roads that play baseball, and some are going to college, some haven't decided where they're going, but a neat little send-off. It's been going on. I think this will be the 3rd or 4th year of that event. So that's just on the way, not too far off in the distance. Coach Young continues to have his troubleshooting issues with his telephone. And by the way, Keith, before we go to break here, you didn't ask about Smithfield Soccer. And I want to give them a shout out thanks to our man, Pat Doolin, the AD over there. They announced them of the Bay Rivers District all soccer selections. Kudos to these youngsters. Max Cooper of Jamestown, the player of the year. You see he made the first team as a forward along with Evan Salamanca of Lafayette, Christian Menker of War Hill, Carter Goetz of Smithfield. Hey, Pat, if you're watching, is that our buddy Tim's? It's got to be our buddy Tim's son. I didn't realize he's over there. I have seen Tim over there a couple times. John Chisholm of Gloucester, midfielder. James Sneed of Jamestown. Jorge Murillo. Jack Hauseneck, probably butchered that completely, from Tab. You got Grafton's Brady Leonard. Oh, I don't want to skip over the sophomore Brody Doolin, who's one of just 2 sophomores on the first team, along with Alex Abbey Saab of Grafton, Jordan Bridges, Patrick Buckley, Logan Young of Smithfield, Jadon Caldiero of War Hill, and goalie Nikki Robertson of Jamestown. Good stuff right there. See, we give you a potpourri of stuff, folks, from soccer to baseball to you name it here on 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Quick timeout. We're going to come back with more, hopefully have the coach with us. But let's hear some more from some of the sponsors and make it possible for us to do this with you each and every Saturday as we get ready to turn the calendar from May to June. And we have a neat announcement, as long as I don't forget to tell you about, starting next week here on CoVA Sports TV and 757 Saturday Sports Talk. You don't want to miss it. Probably give it to you at the end of the show, as it will allow a lot more folks to tune in and catch us, even if it's not during our live showtime that's generally from 10 a.m. to 12 noon Eastern each and every Saturday. And by the way, Keith did ask about the Smithfield football schedule. I might have that for you when we come back from break. I just might. So a lot going on. Stay tuned. It is CoVA Sports TV. Here's a word from our sponsors right now.
What makes a life a good one? Is it our adventures? Or the friends we find along the way? Is it the challenges we conquer together? Maybe it's the people's lives we touch every single day. So, what makes a life a good one? You'll have to figure that one out for yourself.
What is more? Is it more reps, more strength, more stamina? We say it's all of that, but it's greater than just what's in the mirror. It's about improving your mental and physical health. More is a feeling of achievement, fulfillment, confidence. It's looking better, feeling better, being better, and it's our mission to get you there. Because here, you are more. One Life Fitness.
Portco is your local nonprofit organization dedicated to economic empowerment through employment for people with disabilities. We focus on abilities, not limitations, providing on-the-job vocational support. Find your pathway to employment. Contact us or learn more at portco.org.
Well, it's everybody's favorite time of year again. Time to prepare to make your annual donation to that infernal revenue service. And if you're like me, you need help. Help to keep that donation as small as possible. So get off your W-2 and call John Maynard at John's Tax Service. 455-6766.
All right, we're back. If April showers bring May flowers, what do May flowers bring? The answer? Pilgrims. Pilgrims.
This is 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Here are Matt Hatfield and Coach Ed Young.
All right, we're back here on 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel wherever you may be tuning in on this particular Saturday morning. Glad you are with us here on the program as we talk all things sports with you. And we now have the coach, Ed Young, who's back with us. I don't know if it's on his phone or his computer. I really don't care at this point. Good morning, sir. How was your end of your Friday and start of your Saturday?
You know, I'm just this computer stuff. I didn't touch no buttons. I turned the computer on as I normally do on Saturday morning, and you're telling me you can't hear me. So I see the unmute button. I hit unmute. Nothing happens. So it tells me to hit Control plus D. So I press Control plus D.
What's the D for? What does the D stand for?
It's disastrous. Absolutely.
That's what I was thinking.
So it doesn't come on, and I'm hitting every other. I don't want to really touch a whole lot of buttons because I don't want to do something different. But it tells me on the settings, microphone is working, but it's not working.
No.
So I remained calm through it all, did not bust the computer, which I about did. Much more mature than that, and we'll do it by phone. So I'm on by phone, and let's continue.
Your quality is actually better on your phone than your computer for whatever it's worth. Yeah, we were going through a little bit of the high school baseball, and we got softball, we got soccer, we got lacrosse, we got all kinds of things. Track, you name it. French Open's underway in full steam ahead. NHL Stanley Cup Finals are set with Edmonton and Florida rematch of last year. The NBA Finals could be set if the Knicks are unable to stave off elimination tonight in Indiana and beat the Pacers to force a Game 7 at Madison Square Garden coming up on Monday. NBA Finals commence on Thursday on ABC. The NHL Finals are on TNT. Baseball's hot and heavy. Your Yanks take another L. My D-backs take 1-2. We can't get out of our own way. I say we. But we also have a special guest coming up top of the hour. Roland Wright, head baseball coach of Western Branch, is slated to join us. You'll hear our man Jack Lowe's conversation with a former Bruin, now the Norfolk Tides, and Colin Selby. But since we're talking about a bunch of different things, you more shocked to hear Phil Forbes, your buddy at Menchville, as they got knocked out in the first round as a 2 seed by Kickingham, or more stunned to hear that the defending champ First Colonial got beat by Kempsville 7-6? Yes, a Kempsville program that had fallen on hard times, had a coaching change, that whole tumultuous offseason last year, but here they are, and kudos to them as they knocked off the Patriots.
Wow. Of course, I'm just hearing that right now, and my first reaction is obviously a number 1 seed getting beat, but it was 7-6, close one. And, of course, with Phil Forbes, Phil's a legend on the baseball field. Anytime they're getting wondering what's going on. Does he have a young team, pitching not coming through? That's surprising too. But I would have to say a first-place team getting knocked off catches my attention.
Catches your attention more. Okay. That's fair. So it leaves us with the 7 seed in Kempsville taking on the 3 seed in Ocean Lakes. That's today at 12 noon. And today at 12 noon, number 1 seed Cox taking on number 5 seed Great Bridge with that talented youngster, the junior shortstop Casey Kadire I mentioned in our last segment, who's going to North Carolina. We'll be having a conversation with Michael Kadire next week about the All-Tidewater Baseball Classic coming up at War Memorial Stadium in Hampton, the former Minnesota Twin and a longtime major leaguer from the 757 who's been gracious enough to chat with us the last couple of years. But getting to that fun time of year where spring jubilees are right around the corner. And for those wondering about, the spring jubilee, we talked about it last week on the show, and we'll show it to you again this week on the show. The place to get all that information. There's so many brackets, so many things to peruse, if you will. The VHSL website has it for you. Their brackets up there through Max Preps. And again, you can go to VHSL.org for all of that. We'll give you a quick little peek at what is up there at this moment before we turn the tables to another quick topic. And there it is. You see the quarterfinals are at home sites June the 10th. The semifinals are on June the 13th at the Spring Jubilee sites, and the finals on June the 14th. As far as the Jubilee schedules go, for Class 5 and Class 6, which are the bigger classifications. We'll give you the 3 and 4 in a second. Glen Allen's got the semis for 6, finals at Glen Allen, semis for Deep Run at Class 5, finals at Deep Run. Softball, you see basically the same setup there. Soccer for Class 6 is going to have its finals at Glen Allen High School for boys and girls, Class 5 at Deep Run, and lacrosse coming up on June the 14th at Douglas Freeman High School for 6, Mills Godwin for Class 5. Quick little peek at what is up there for Class 3 and Class 4, because we do have a number of teams across the 7-5-7 and scattered across VA there. Monticello High School's got the Class 4 semis and the finals for baseball, as well as softball. In Class 3, it's at Fluvanna, home of the Flying Flukos. Like that nickname? I know you do. The Flukos. One of your favorites.
One of my favorites.
And in boys and girls soccer, Monticello has the boys and girls soccer finals on the 14th. Fluvanna's got the girls and boys soccer final on the 14th of June. Charlottesville hosts the lacrosse for Class 4 as they combine 1 through 4 for that one. So there you have it. That is what's going on. Before we turn our attention on the basketball and hockey front after this break coming up, I do want to ask you about this. We talk so much about historically great teams in sports. This team, a few years ago, they were talking about the Patriots. Is it the best team ever? In high school, people ask us, where do these Maury and Oscar Smith and Phoebus teams stand up on the football front? Woodside won a couple of back-to-back state titles. The Princess Anne girls, you can do it with any sport, any level, individuals too. We don't like to talk about where all-time bad teams are. But, Ed, the Colorado Rockies have yet to win a series this year in Major League Baseball. They are 9-48. They have dropped 6 in a row. In fact, today I think they are more than a $4 underdog against the New York Mets with Kodai Senga on the hill for the Metropolitans up at Citi Field with a 4:10 Eastern start. And they could very well get swept. Sensatella's on the mound with a 1-9 record, 6.50 ERA. The Rockies, who did go to a World Series about, I want to say 18 years ago, but they are 9-48. If it was the opposite and they were 48-9, or any team was 48-9, be it the Dodgers, your beloved Yankees, whoever, we would be talking ad nauseum about them. But the Rockies, coming off a season in which the Chicago White Sox were one of the worst teams ever, historically, statistically, they are 9-48. I think their over-under is like 31.5 right now. Is this team going to win a series, A? And B, could they go down as the worst team ever in the long, and I do mean long, history of Major League Baseball? They are some kind of bad.
As far as winning a series, yes. The season's too long to lose every series. I can't see it.
Well, who's it going to come against?
Yeah, it's hard for me to pick a team. First of all, you want to say, well, who's the next worst team? That's who they'll beat at least once in the series. That's not necessarily true. They beat the Yankees in one game in the series a couple weeks ago, and Yankees are top 3 record in baseball.
Yes,
so
it was last Friday.
Yeah.
Correct.
I remember trying to go on there and say, oh, the Yankees, I'm going to bet a sweep for the Yankees. That didn't happen. So they're going to win a series. Now, as far as the worst team ever, okay, well, how are we going to define worst team? Me? Who has the worst record, season worst record ever? Last year, I think it was the White Sox, if I'm not mistaken.
No. You got to go back to the 1800s, the infamous 1899 Cleveland Spiders. I remember you were watching them when you were in the cradle. They were 20 wins, 134 losses. Now, this record stands even when considering the modern 162 game schedule. But yes, the White Sox from last year were historically bad. In fact, their record a season ago was pretty hideous.
Well, their record last year, didn't it defeat the 62 Mets, worst modern day?
41 and 121.
Right.
And I lost 14 in a row at one point, and I think they opened up. It was 3 and 22.
Yeah, I tend to look at from 1900 on as the quote modern day record.
You're not going to count those Cleveland Spiders, those great Cleveland Spiders teams?
I'm going to give them a break. I'm going to give the Spideys a break and those back then. I would say the 62 Mets, of course, the White Sox. Of course, the White Sox will like it. The Rockies are being horrible now because it took all that views off of them as bad as they were last year.
But think about that for a second. Hold on, Ed. Think about it for a second. 41 and 121. That's like winning 1 in every 4 games. The Rockies aren't doing that right now. That's 253 baseball. They're playing 158 baseball. That's about half of 253, 158. That's still 10 percentage points lower than them. I know it's an early sample size, but they are dreadful.
Well, when I look at that, I see, okay, they're not winning, but I don't see them committing 5-6 errors a game. I don't see them striking out 18, 19 times a game. That's obviously would become extremely more dreadful in terms of the bad news bears out there, throwing the ball all over the place, can't catch nothing. And to be in the majors, professional, major league, it's unbelievable because everybody has a smattering of good players on their team. Some teams have way more. And you say, Rockies, what happened to you? Go ahead and look out the roster. It's not all. Somebody asked me last time when we talked about them, or are they just playing a bunch of rookies? No. Maybe they should now, but no, they've got veterans in the lineup. Well, maybe they have horrible pitching. Well, everybody has somewhat bad pitching. You'd be blessed to have a couple great starters on your roster. I can't figure it out how they can be this bad. I've said that before. NBA basketball, you have a team that finishes a year, 20 wins and 62 losses. And you're paying guys multi-million dollars. How are you going to win 20 games? Is everybody that much better than you? In baseball, the complaint is teams like the Rockies, the Pirates, the Reds, small market teams. They don't spend enough money to go get some really good veterans or keep their young guys as they get better to keep them there. They leave for free agency because they don't want to spend money. And that probably needs to be addressed. But, how do you make a team spend money? You have to go out and spend, $50 million on free agents. How are you going to tell a team you have to?
Yeah,
but you got to do something, or they're always going to be for that fan base towards the bottom of the standings, because you got a team like the Yankees, the Dodgers, Boston, San Diego, teams that are going to go out and get people. They're going to pay money because they have the ability to do it, and they're not worried about the luxury tax penalty and all that. They'll pay that too, but you have other teams that really don't do that. So I don't know what it is, but it's a shame. At this stage of the season, they've won less than 10 games, and we're getting ready.
The crazy thing is there's 3 teams that have hit fewer home runs than them: Kansas City, Pittsburgh and the White Sox. And in terms of actual pitching, the Athletics have an ERA that's slightly higher than the Rockies. The Orioles are slightly below them in terms of worst ERAs in the sport. And their fielding isn't great, but I wouldn't say it's been a comedy of errors. They've lost a fair share of close games, but they've also gotten bludgeoned in a lot of games too. It's baffling. I mean, it really is baffling. And we'll see if they get themselves turned around and out of it, because right now it is a funk that's just beyond comprehension to a lot of respect.
The key here, what we don't know, is we see the physical, but we don't know the mental. And when those guys, when they're getting beat 19-0, and then they have to face, an infielder pitching now, you don't know if their attitude is, well, I try. Because, of course, we always know in sport, as a coach and manager, you're always raw. Come on, we got to do it. You got to play your best. You got to live each at-bat, live each inning. We got to try to win this inning. Whatever you're trying to say to get your team motivated. That's the mental part. Because physically, they should have already been gifted enough to be able at that level, and they know the fundamentals. Now they just got to go out and do it.
Yeah.
And sometimes they can't, like with the Knicks and Pacers, that last game, I'm hearing people, and I think it was Shaquille O'Neal said it on the air. Oh, they didn't really try. They didn't really, they knew they had an extra game. They can give up a game. They can go back home and win it. But so they didn't really care. And I'm thinking to myself, so they're actually going through a game saying to themselves, well, it don't matter if we lose. I don't want to play hard. I don't care if I make this shot or not. I'm not playing defense in this possession. And as an idealist in the coaching business, I'm thinking, who would do that? Who would be out on the floor and not giving 100%? Because I remember I always tell my guys, of course, I'm at the high school level, look, man, if you don't want to be out there, you don't feel good about playing, you don't think we can win, you don't think sit down. Let me know, sit down. I'll get somebody else in there that's going to at least try. You got to give effort, especially when you got paying fans at the professional level, especially. Those tickets are not cheap. So if I'm knowing if I've got a team out there that's not really performing as a fan or a coach or manager, that would make me go ballistic, which is why I say we always fire the manager. We always get rid of the coach underperforming teams, because we say, well, you can't fire the players, and maybe he lost the locker room. Maybe players have turned a deaf ear to him. So let's get rid of the manager, the coach. So we put the blame on him. And they did that with Colorado. They did that with Baltimore in baseball. They got rid of the manager. And how much better are they? And if they're not much better, then I say, now let's step in and let's start getting rid of players.
Hold on now. The Orioles have been playing a little bit better baseball. They're 5-5 their last 10. They had a 3-game winning streak not too long ago. Now they're playing the White Sox at home, and they should beat them. And Zach Eflin gave them a really nice pitching performance. But, I do emphasize but, they're starting to try to inch their way a little closer in that division. They're only 15 back of the Yankees. They're only 10 back in the wild card. They get to July 4th, and they're within 6-7 games. Look out. It could be a little sneaky. Charlie Morton had a good pitching performance last week. I think it was last weekend, in fact. Yeah, against St. Louis, if memory serves me right. Actually got himself a win. And he was over, and he was really dreadful.
Well, yeah. I'm glad that they're back on track now. They did lose
somewhat.
When they fired High, they lost their next 3 in a row anyways, but now they got it back on track.
Yes.
But because that's a team I picked to win the doggone division.
Well, that was a bad pick. You and Mark Feinstein, who picked them to win a World Series, might want to scrap that one. But listen, and you're right. Since Brandon Hyde left, they had a slow. It was really bad there. But Tony Manzolino's gotten them a little bit more competitive and inspired. We'll see if they can make it stick when the schedule gets tougher. That's obviously the tricky part of all of this. So, anyhow, let's go to a break. As we come back, we're going to hear in a little bit Jack Lowe's conversation. Well, before I actually go to break, tonight, Knicks Pacers. Quick question for you from the basketball front as a coach. If you're Tibbs, Tom Thibodeau, do you leave Mitchell Robinson in the starting lineup, or do you go back to Josh Hart here? You had a nice game number 5. The defense was locked in against the Pacers, otherwise known as the Spacers. They spaced the floor. They hit threes. Tyrese Halliburton had the magnificent triple-double in game 4. Very quiet, not like himself in game 5. And the Pacers team just didn't bring the same level of force or intensity. By the way, since when did force become this catchy, trendy word that every coach and player says in postgame? Everybody talks about force. I interviewed you for 20 years. I don't think you ever used the word force, even though you forced your way into a lot of buffet lines. Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know where the word force is coming in there either.
A little more force.
Some people get invent a word, use a word, a phrase, and then they try to go with it so that I guess they can take ownership that for using it. I'm not sure on that either. In answer to your question of what do you do, common sense says you stay with what won you the last game, which means Mitch Robinson stays in there. Because two ways of thinking. If you go back to Hart and you lose, people say, you idiot. Why did you go back to Hart and you won with Robinson? If you
whoa, timeout, 30-second timeout, because they lost game number 4 when they made that lineup change. So it's not like that has produced 100% win results. I'm just wondering if Hart, who can give them that little extra effort, I'm wondering, and Mitch Robinson could, if they're running the floor and they get down 15-20, we could be second guessing it or looking back at it, or Tom Thibodeau could be getting his walking papers is what I'm getting at. Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't. Again, you look at we as coaches and managers superstitious. So what happened last game? How did we win last game? And you're playing the same team. That's the other thing. So you figure, well, let's just do what won us the last game, because you almost think everybody's going to play the exact same. See, there's where you get screwed up. Doesn't mean everybody's going to play the exact same. When you go into the coaching philosophy of it behind the scenes, we as coaches will say, well, look, Jason Hart's been our guy all year. I don't want to dump on him, even though
Jason Hart has not been their guy all year. Josh Hart has been, but go ahead.
Josh has been there all year for them. So now you say, I don't want to take it away from him. I'll put him out there. But we're in the pros, and you're playing for championships. And if you lose, you're done. So forget his feeling. You don't like it? Too bad. Ask your agent to get you traded, whatever. But I'm going to go with what's winning us games. That's what I got to go with. But you're hoping everybody plays exactly like they did last game, which is not always a given. That's the issue. And again, I don't know the mentality of NBA players. Everybody, it's hard to figure them out. 7-game series, you need to win 4. Doesn't matter where you win them. And sometimes maybe they figure, okay, this ain't working today. Let's kind of save ourselves so we can go back home. They're going back to Indiana for the next game, which, by the way, I think they will win tonight. I think they end the series tonight with, of course, it don't matter. I don't see anybody beating Oklahoma City.
Is that a guarantee, Edward?
I can't do a Barkley on this one and say guarantee it.
Okay.
But as you heard Barkley on the show last time, if they go back to New York, it's a guarantee New York's going to win it. I kind of want to jump in that boat, that if they go back to New York 3-3 and the Knicks have hung on and got to the even spot, that they would knock the Pacers off in New York. But I don't think that's going to happen tonight. I think we'll play a lot better than what they did and play enough to win it.
I think Benedict Mathurin, who's come on the last couple of games after having a really sluggish start to the series, I think he could have a big 20-plus point effort and have a real impact off the bench for Indiana in this one. Miles Turner could hit some outside shots. Certainly Pascal Siakam and Tyrese Halliburton are at the top of the game plan if you're trying to stop them on the New York side of things. But I'm with you. I think the Pacers do finish it off tonight. As we head to break, I can't say who texted me this, but someone says – I was dying laughing while you were talking earlier. And I'm going to give you a nickname when we come back too, by the way. That your computer issues. Ed's got, this is so funny, steak fry fingers. Get him, man. It has a big effect with computers and texting. There you go. Steak fry fingers. Love it. I love it. Now, if that person wants to unveil who he or she, could be a she, is, they can get on the chat line, and I would love for that person to do that. But I don't want to divulge the identity of that individual who gave me the laugh of the morning with your steak fry fingers. But I will not call him Steak Fry Ed. I have a better nickname when we come back after this.
I don't get the steak fry reference. I don't get
your fingers are big. You're big steak fries. That's what it means. That's why you're knocking things off and you're muting stuff. And that's what it is.
No, that's not the issue. Yeah. The keys on the computer are big enough.
Your phone.
with the finger on.
I still think it's hilarious. That's all right. We'll come back, have some more comedy, and hopefully some more insight from the coach who's finally joined us after his long delay. We've got some more sites from.
Hold on. Okay, you computer geeks out there think they know it all. Why isn't my microphone working on the computer when I didn't touch anything? I turned the computer.
Well, that could be some of the sites that you visit. It eventually gets a little faulty, and I can't speak to your browsing and searching history. So
ESPN site on here. I got CBS Sports. I've got college basketball.
That's great, but you haven't mentioned the sites that we can't mention. So there you go.
But I'm not doing what you do late night.
I know that's not me. Don't now. That's very insulting.
Yeah, I understand that, but I don't do
your
that.
Your history speaks for itself. Let's take a timeout. We've got Colin Selby's conversation with Jack Lowe. We come back right here on CoVA Sports TV. Plus, I'll reveal Ed's nickname too. It's all coming your way.
What is more? Is it more reps, more strength, more stamina? We say it's all of that, but it's greater than just what's in the mirror. It's about improving your mental and physical health. More is a feeling of achievement, fulfillment, confidence. It's looking better, feeling better, being better, and it's our mission to get you there, because here you are more. One Life Fitness.
As a banker at Town Bank, we believe that people bank with people, not with banks. You're looking for an actual personal relationship, and that's what you get at our bank. You get that person that gets to know you, gets to know your business, is there for you. I think that is what motivates us, what drives us, and the idea that we are trying to serve others and enrich lives, I think is very true.
What makes a life a good one? Is it our adventures? Or the friends we find along the way? Is it the challenges we conquer together? Maybe it's the people's lives we touch every single day. So, what makes a life a good one? You'll have to figure that one out for yourself.
Well, it's everybody's favorite time of year again. Time to prepare to make your annual donation to that infernal revenue service. And if you're like me, you need help. Help to keep that donation as small as possible. So get off your W-2 and call John Maynard at John's Tax Service. 455-6763.
Portco is your local nonprofit organization dedicated to economic empowerment through employment for people with disabilities. We focus on abilities, not limitations, providing on-the-job vocational support. Find your pathway to employment. Contact us or learn more at portco.org.
I'm Dr. Mark Cardelia, orthopedic surgeon and surgical director of the CHKD Sports Medicine Program. We see a lot of knee injuries in student athletes these days, and many of these are ACL tears. Parents often ask how to know when a knee injury may be serious. The most obvious symptom is severe pain or swelling in the knee joint. Your child may have heard a pop when the injury occurred. Look for signs they can't put weight on the knee around 48 hours after the injury, or if the knee feels unstable or wobbly. Those are all signs you should see a CHKD sports medicine specialist. Our sports medicine physicians, surgeons, athletic trainers, and physical therapists understand the needs of growing athletes and tailor treatment to fit each child's age and level of activity. Our goal is to accurately diagnose the problem in a timely fashion and provide the treatment that will ensure a safe return to activity. Kids want to play, and we want to help them get back in the game. To learn more, visit chkd.org. Sports medicine at CHKD. We're more than a hospital.
Hey folks, we're back with joke time. What do you call a fish who wears a bow tie? Any guesses? Sophisticated. Sophisticated.
This is 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Here are Matt Hatfield and Coach Ed Young.
Back here on 757 Saturday Sports Talk on CoVA Sports TV, along with the coach Ed Young. I am Matt Hatfield. We've got coming up in just a couple of minutes the head baseball coach of the Western Branch Bruins making another deep run in the playoffs, Roland Wright. He will join us here. But Ed, before we hear from Coach Wright, our man Jack Lowe caught up with a former Bruin who's been in the major leagues, has pitched for the Pittsburgh Pirates, Kansas City Royals, Baltimore Orioles, now with the Norfolk Tides. We're talking about Colin Selby. So here's some of that conversation that Jack had with Colin right now on CoVA Sports TV.
All right, here talking with Colin Selby, closer, pitcher for the Norfolk Tides. Colin, you got your first save the other night. How you feeling out there?
Pretty good. Just trying to stay ahead. You find out that the more you stay ahead, the better off your outing is, and helps the bullpen a little bit too, keeping your pitch count down.
Yeah, and talk a little bit about your approach. You're pitching against a very tough Lehigh Valley team, one of the best in all of the minor leagues, a lot of top prospects. Is there any different approach, or is it just another night?
No, just same approach as always. Like I said, just trying to stay ahead and kind of let my stuff play, and it just comes down to trust. You got to trust that all the work you put in leading up to that is good enough to get these guys out. So yeah, just got to trust that and keep it going.
In your opinion, how close do you think you are to just breaking that ice there? It's a very tough big league roster to make, but at what point of your journey do you think you're on right now?
I think I'm on the right track. Obviously, some of those things I can't really control. Just got to keep doing the things I'm doing down here and getting better. There's always room to improve, so just finding any little thing I can to improve is the goal.
Yeah, so this week it's been very bad weather. There's clouds rolling in right now. As a bullpen pitcher, what is your day-to-day like when you're getting games rained out, you have multiple doubleheaders, and you know that you can go in at any point because they're going to need as much pitching as they need? Yeah,
just trying to stay on routine. Usually for me, if I go 2 to 3 days without touching the mound, I'll like to touch probably anywhere from 5 to 10 pitches in a bullpen before the game. Nothing crazy, just kind of want to feel the slope and kind of stay sharp with breaking balls and whatnot.
Yeah, one of the biggest things that a lot of the media likes to ask you about here, you're from here, you graduated from Western Branch High School, so just a few questions about that. Number one, just talk about growing up here in Hampton Roads. Were you more of a rec baseball guy? Did you play some travel? If so, where'd you play?
Yeah, I moved over here. My dad was in the military. I moved over here from Hawaii, and I remember going to Chittenden Elementary School, and I knew some guys that were in my class. One was Carter Beagle, and I think that might have been the only one from that team that I played on. So I remember I was hitting some BP with Carter and his dad, and then ended up going to some of the practices. I don't remember where they were. It was like in an old gym. And then ended up playing with that team. I mean, between rec ball and then on the weekends playing on that team, and then once high school started high school and went to Randolph-Macon.
Yeah, talk about your high school baseball a little bit. Obviously playing for Roland Wright. He's been doing it forever over at Western Branch. Has a long tenure, a lot of great seasons. You even won a state championship there. Yeah. You helped lead that team. Just talk about that and playing for Roland Wright.
I mean, it was great. I mean, my junior year, I think we had one of the better high school teams I've seen play. Might be a little biased, but we had some really good talent on that team. And kind of going into that year, we knew we were going to win the state championship. It wasn't really ever a question. It was just a matter of executing and getting it done at the end.
So there you have it. That was Colin Selby chatting with Jack Lowe, former Western Branch Bruins pitcher now with the Norfolk Tides. He's been in the big leagues, and we're now so privileged to be joined by the head baseball coach of those Western Branch Bruins. You heard he get referenced there and what a job he has done, over 300 wins in his tenure. and a couple of state championships, 4 regional titles. We say hello to our pal, Roland Wright. Coach, good to have you on the show. How's life treating you?
Good morning, guys. Life is treating me okay. Anytime I have to talk to you and Ed this time of year, life is going well. Coach, hope everything's going well with your retirement and everything.
Good to see you, Roland, but this retirement thing, I don't mind. I don't do the grudgery of getting up and going to school and all that, but boy, not coaching is absolutely killing me, and I'm hoping to get back into it soon enough. So,
you're too good not to be in it, Coach. That's for sure.
I appreciate it, but if I can't get a hoop job, I might have to come over there and see if I can hit some fungos and do some signals, some third base signals for you, baseball, because that's a big love of mine too.
Oh, goodness.
Come on over. We have fun over here. That's for sure.
He might be applying the wrong times to do the suicide squeeze or the bunt and all kinds of crazy things. But, hey, before we get into your team and what's on deck here in Class 6 Region A, you just heard a little bit of Jack's conversation with one of your former Bruins and Colin Selby. How proud are you, Coach? I mean, you've got a number of guys that have made it to the big leagues. I want to say 6 players, is that right, that have been major league draft choices? How cool is it to hear those guys and then also have a chance to show your current players you can get here if you stay true to the process and keep working hard?
Yeah, that was an awesome interview by Jack. And, we're extremely proud of Colin and the journey that he had. It hasn't always been smooth for him. He went and played at a great program at Randolph-Macon and, kind of found his way there. And I think, Coach Hedrick there helped out a lot in his development of getting to the professional level. And then obviously his professional level has been a journey. I think he's in the right organization now with Baltimore. He seems to be, having a path that he really likes. And, he stops by and talks to us and talks to our guys. But, that kid has worked his hind parts off. As you said in the interview, he was a part of that 2014 team that, was really elite. And he helped us, win my first state title and our second state title in school history. But, we're extremely proud of Colin, and especially it's really cool for him to be, home now that everybody can kind of touch them. Because, when these guys get to be professional athletes, it's hard to really touch them. And, Colin's, been around the guys. And, I just think that was an awesome interview by Jack. And, Colin's just such a humble kid that just puts his head down and works. So we're extremely proud of him.
Absolutely. And as we'll put it up on the screen here now, Coach, will show the folks out there, the audience, the Bruins fans and baseball fans across the 757 and beyond here in VA, what's on deck for you guys. Now I'm showing it's coming up on June 3rd. You take on the 5th seed Deep Run, if that's right. And then on the other side of the bracket, Grassfield Highland Springs play today in a quarterfinal. It looks like winner gets Glen Allen, the number 6 seed. So it's not quite the chaos that we've seen in 5A and 5B with a couple of 2 seeds, including the reigning champion First Colonial going out, knocked out by Kempsville, Kickingham beating a Menchville. But you got to feel pretty good to be still playing this time of year where there are some surprises and upsets that happen.
Yeah, anytime I think, we set our goal to get to obviously the region first, and then obviously our second goal is to try to qualify for a state tournament run. That's kind of where we are right now. But I tell you, this time of year, I think baseball in the 757 in general is just really good. Like, I think you have to take the seed numbers out of there when you get in tournament play because, as you've seen, you just got to show up and survive. And we played a very tough Oscar Smith team Thursday with Dom Zach came in and just really threw the lights out of the baseball. And they're well coached by Larry Gordon. And, now we got to turn around and face, a scrappy deep run team that's well coached by Andy Haga. And, Glen Allen's back in it again. They're still alive. That's who we played in the regional final last year. And, Grassville is still alive and Highland Springs, but that 5A is ridiculous. You got a big game Monday with Ocean Lakes and Kempsville who upset First Colonial, and then you got Cox and Great Bridge, and then the 5B is tough. So you saw like Kickingham upset Menchville, and I think this time of year and coach knows in basketball you survive in advance. It might not be pretty. It's just be winning at the end of the scoreboard.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter about style points, does it?
No, sir. No style points in regional play. I can tell you that. When we've been fortunate to win a couple and there's no style points involved, this time of year you got to get a lot of breaks that go your way. And, you just hope your kids show up and play. And, if your kids show up and play and give everything they got, there's really at the end of the day nothing you can be down about win or lose. And that's really what we've asked our kids right now. We've turned our focus really to celebrating each other. And I want them to celebrate everything with our guys. And I think the last probably 3 weeks of the season, we've done a really great job of just having fun and celebrating, and me just staying out of the way and not getting in their way.
Well, I think, Roland, you hit it just right. The key thing is having the kids having some fun out there. But on the other hand, as coaches and managers, we know the capabilities of our team. And when we probably get on them the most is when they're not playing to the capabilities that you expect of them and they have shown. That's kind of when you really get on them, which goes back to when you said about style points for wins. My thing, I don't apologize for wins. I don't care how it is. Now, we may go in the locker room when nobody else is around. I might say to the team, hey, look, we won by, 4 points today, but honestly, it should have been a 14, 15-point win. We know what we got to do. There's too much clowning around. We're not being serious enough, not paying attention on the bench. We know what we have to clean up and fix, but you're right. As long as we can score one more run, one more point than our opponent, we'd take it, period. But we do know how to take care of it. The other thing I want to get to you before we start talking about a little bit more about playoffs and whatever is, let's talk about your squad. Highlight some of your top kids, and also if they have, like Colin and some of the other guys that you've had, anybody you think have a great shot at maybe playing professionally either sooner or later, or opportunity to move on to play college ball.
Yeah, I'm extremely proud of this group. We graduated 9 seniors last year, and 5 are playing college baseball right now. And, for this group to really come in and continue the tradition that the 9 seniors, we made it to the state Final Four and lost a heartbreaker to South Lakes in the bottom of the 7th last year. So for them to rebound and really come back and, put us back in a position to get where we are, I'm just extremely proud of them. They know when they put our jersey on, there's pressure to carry the tradition on, and they've accepted. We've had good senior leadership. Logan Adams, who has done a tremendous job for us at third base, is going to Christopher Newport. Jackson Walters, our center fielder, is going to Bridgewater. Miles Millisek is going to VMI. He's our left-handed pitcher. And then we finally just got Eli Carroll back, who had off-season surgery, who's going to Lynchburg. And then Zach Kincaid has kind of been DHing for us as a DH, and he's going to Virginia Wesleyan. But, they are what Western Branch is. Nothing pretty. We're going to play hard for 21 outs. We're going to respect the game, and then we're just going to be scrappy. We don't have any of these big D1 guys. We don't have any highlight guys. We just play baseball, and it's fun to watch. And, we throw strikes, we play defense, and we put pressure on the defense. And that seems to be the recipe that's been pretty successful for us here. And, since I've been here since '05, I just think if your pitchers throw strikes, you play good defense, and you can put pressure on the defense, you got a chance to win some things around here. And that's kind of been us. And, again, it's nothing pretty. It's nothing spectacular. It's just kind of who we are.
And Coach, I noticed back in January, I think it was, you were recognized with the Bud Matheny Award at Old Dominion's annual Step Up to the Plate fundraiser. And I know you're going to give a lot of the credit to your coaching staff and all the players you've had over the years. But what did that mean, knowing what Bud Matheny meant to baseball, former OU coach, a World Series champion back in the 40s with Ed's beloved Yankees, and his contributions to baseball across the 757 to get that honor?
I was speechless in honor. When Finney called me to ask me what I accepted, of course I was humbled, and, being able really to represent Western Branch High School, being able to represent Western Branch baseball, being able to represent my players, both past, present, and future, and, most of all, my family. It was a very special night. My family got to come in. My wife was with me. My one twin that was at Macon came in. My other son that's playing at Lynchburg couldn't come in. But I had a lot of friends and family around to help me celebrate this award. But, like I've told everybody, this award doesn't happen without a lot of people that have supported me. A lot of people that gave me the path to do what I do. I'm very thankful and humbled. But, Bud Matheny was a great endorser for baseball around here. And, just to be able to take an award with his name on it is just a tremendous honor. But, again, you guys know this thing's never been about me here at Western Branson baseball. It's just how can I continue to contribute to baseball in the 757 and really at all over the state of Virginia. And I think that platform, has given me that opportunity to continue to do that. But I was very humbled and honored to receive that award.
We're chatting with Roland Wright. He's the head baseball coach of the Western Branch Bruins, the recipient of the Bud Metheny Award. He's got a record of 309 and 121 at the helm of the Bruins there in Chesapeake with a couple of state titles as they're continuing their quest for another championship as they're getting ready to take on the number 5 seed deep run in the regional semifinals next week. It is 757 Saturday Sports Talk powered by CoVA Sports TV. Ed?
Roland, congrats to you on that award. Well deserved. And I know you're very humble in accepting it, but you've done the work. And it shows, and not just your players, guys getting drafted, which is really cool to see that happen. But the kids being able to move on to college, it's the opportunity you give your kids. So, well deserved. Keep getting those type of awards. Now, I got to ask you, as a top-notch baseball coach in this area, if you had the power to make some changes, whether it be on the field, off the field, in terms of high school baseball. In here, what would you do? What are some things that would come to your mind?
I think, first of all, I like my buddy is the head coach of Stoneman Douglas in Florida, and I like what they do. They do a 3-game series when they get into this. And I think, it truly brings out the best team because you've got 3 games to play each other, the 2 out of 3 series. And I think, that's one of the things that, I've pushed for is, maybe changing the series. I think the second thing is, the regions are you really don't play a regional foe until it means something. And I think, it's the same thing in basketball is, I think, the district schedule has been awesome, but I think it's kind of out of date now because of how the region has moved. I'll be honest, I'm an old school guy. I just really thought it meant something on Memorial Day when you took the best 2 from Peninsula, the Southeastern, the Beach, and the Eastern. And, it's kind of like a parade when you drove down Hampton Boulevard and Powhatan and you went to Old Dominion and you felt like you were the guy if you survived that, because that was a murder's row right there. And that, so I think, and our region's going to change again. We're continuously having teams drop down and teams drop up. And I don't know if there's a right answer for the regional play, to be honest with you, but I really like the 2 out of 3 series because I just think, right now in the format we have, one team can have one pitcher that can get you to the state tournament. And it shows you whether you're truly developing your team or just have that one arm that can beat you.
Yeah, I'm with you, Coach. I think I saw exactly what you said. My colleague at Virginia Prep School, Garlick, said he misses those days at ODU where you'd have those 3-4 games in a day. It was a marathon. Me and Ed, being the basketball guys we equate it to what we had used to be at Church or the Norfolk Scope, where you'd have just that you got through the gauntlet. And reclassification has shifted that. And I get asked all the time, no matter how many times we show these brackets on our screen or run a ticker, who's playing when, who's playing where. I think it's even harder to keep up with, tell me if I'm wrong, for baseball and spring sports because of Mother Nature, which is always so unpredictable.
Yeah, and they've thrown that in too. Mother Nature will have it. But, I just think there's a way to make, I know we want everybody to participate in it. And I think you can still do that where the lower seeds can play at their own home site. And then you have the Final Four going to what we used to have at Old Dominion. I just know, when I first got in 2005 and Coach Lee was coaching at Great Bridge and Stufel was at Nanser River and Old Gedro was at Hickory, if you dropped one early in the season in Southeastern District, you probably weren't going to win it or qualify to go to Old Dominion. And I think, that was just really cool. It meant something to the kids. Like you said, Memorial Day, you had that whole slate at Old Dominion. And, I just think it was Gauntlet Road that, you could puff your chest out if you survived that, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm. Last one for me, and I'll let Ed finish up with you with a couple of questions, and we appreciate your time here on this Saturday,
Sure.
The final one of May 2025. You talked about some of the guys that are going to the next level for you on your team with Ed earlier, some guys going to CNU, Virginia Wesleyan, VMI, Lynchburg, you name it. What sets this team apart in your eyes and unique, and will be the thing that you hang your hat on here as you try to get through this gauntlet again and get back to the state championship? I noticed some unfinished business for your guys that came back. You did have 9 seniors depart, but they want to get back to that point and redeem themselves in a lot of ways.
I think they're two different teams. I think last year with the 9 seniors, we were very talented. They've been with me, obviously with my 2 sons. That group had been with me since they were 7 years old. So they kind of knew, what it looked like, especially with my 2 sons. They tagged along with me, both state titles. And, ever since they could walk, they've been at the field. So that group really knew what it looked like to win a state title. But at the same time, they really didn't take care of the small details, in my opinion. So we challenged this group this year to be elite at the small details, whether it's leaving stuff on the field, whether it's helping each other pick up, whether it's just coming focused to practice, just those little teeny things that at the end of the game, you got a loss and you go, man, if we'd have taken care of that, we win. So I challenged them and in the off season, it was a hard ride coming back from Richmond, very emotional, obviously for me as a father and emotional as a coach. And, I took basically July and August. And, my wife will tell you, she said, you're not going to survive, come back from this. I said, yeah, I will. And, I kind of surprised her a little bit that everybody thought I'd retire after they left. And, I have a passion for this that I just love to coach kids. And to come August, I remember I was sitting at the beach and it just hit me. And I was like, we got to be better at the small details. And, in our off season, I really challenged our guys, be small, be elite at the small details, whether it's getting the bunt down, whether it's, just little things. And I think this group has been, I know this group, the reason why they've been successful is they really take care of the small details. They play for each other. They play for what's on the front of their jersey, and they're just happy when a teammate is successful. And I think, I'll give you an example, not to keep y'all here all day. I went and watched Messiah play my son at Randolph-Macon Division III, and they won yesterday. They beat the #1 team, John Hopkins. They're nothing spectacular, but they love playing for each other. And that's kind of how this group is right here. They love playing for each other. And, I know what it looks like to be successful, and this team and Coach Young knows also, but if you like to play with each other, you're going to be successful.
Yeah, that really matters, Ed. It really matters.
Well, you hit it right on the head right there. If the kids are their own worst opponent, forget your other opponent. No matter what sport you're in, if it's a team sport and you're battling each other, and you're not happy to be at it. We know most kids are not happy to come to practice, but like I always tell the kids, practice is my game. That's my game time. So if you don't want me to mess with your game time, which is the actual games, don't mess with mine. Here's what we got to do. And you hit it on the head too with the small details and the idea that you play for each other. You enjoy getting out there. And then you get on each other a little bit. And yeah, there's, kids are kids. They'll goof around a little bit. When it's time to do the work, put the work in, and because we're trying to win. Because when you get out there in the field, so's your opponent. And one of us are winning. So I like to be on that side that's going to win. So let's pay attention to detail. Roland, before my last thing I want to take you back to your childhood. Baseball's the American game and apple pie and all that other mess. When you were a youngster, who was your favorite player? Who did you try to emulate? And where positions did you play?
I'll get to that. I got a good buddy at Todd Fitzgerald, Coach Stillman Douglas. Like I said, his say and mine are about the same. Don't make me coach on game day. That's your day to shine. And I'm like you. I work my tail off Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, Tuesday, Thursday is yours. Go show what you do. But I started at infield and the ball was hit too hard, so I went to the outfield. Once I saw how hard the ball was hitting the infield, I'm like, I don't want no parts of this. So, and I was left-handed, so I went to the outfield, and I got to play for legendary Coach Martin Oliver, played both basketball and baseball, and then I had the opportunity to go to Bridgewater College, and I went up there to play basketball and baseball, and ended up just playing for legendary Coach Kirk Kendall, who just got in the Hall of Fame of Virginia. Had 2 great years playing there, and really took a lot of his coaching philosophy into what I have now, along with having the opportunity to coach with Wally Lee and taking his. I was a Lenny Dykstra fan, and the reason why I was a Lenny Dykstra fan, I just thought he played just hard and nasty, and he wasn't the prettiest. I was a Pete Rose fan. I thought Pete Rose played the game the hard. I just like guys that play the game hard and play the game the right way, and just at the end of the day, you got to really carry them off the field because they're so exhausted and gave everything to their teammates. I liked how David played the game when David Wright was here, and I like obviously Kadir and I are good friends, and I really admire our friendship and how he played the game hard and respected it. But I just really like guys that, this day and age with social media and everything else being told to the kids, there's a lost art of kids just playing hard for themselves and for their teammates. And, that's really what we try to perceive here is, play for each other, not for your social media clicks for everything. And I think we do a great job here handling that. But the game is still there. People are saying, the game's changed. You have to change with the kids, I think. You have to adapt to their language. You have to adapt your coaching style. You have to adapt your coaching practices. And I think coaches that can't do that, they're going to become dinosaurs here. And I think, Coach, you saw that towards the end of yours is, you got to really change and adapt with the kids. You're not giving in. You're just telling you're getting to the same journey, the end of the journey, just a different way. But you're still at the end of the day getting your say.
Yeah, Ron, I agree with you. And people say, kids are changing. Well, in sports, it still takes discipline. Be respectful of the game, the fundamentals, no matter what sport it is. That doesn't really change. And they say, well, you can't be hard. I'm like you, I'm old school. But I understand today's mentality of kids, sometimes brought on by the parents themselves. So you kind of bend a little bit, but I'm not breaking. And you see that. And you'll see coaches that don't want to change. They just want to do it their own way. I spent last season getting out, watching games, watching coaches, looking at timeouts, watching, so that when I come back, I'm not going to say, okay, I'm back. I'm going to coach like I did 10 years ago. No, I'm going to coach in terms of what's needed for today. So I need to, take care of myself. Last thing I'm going to get you out. I did hear you say earlier, you're a big Yankee fan, right?
I like the Yankees. I like how Jeter played. I like the Yankees. Yeah.
There you go. I just want to make it sure because that's now Yankee fans that we have interviewed.
Yeah. You're like the sixth one, Coach. Ed, I get too much of it from Ed. Tough night though for you guys last night watching the Dodgers though.
I just like watching baseball, and I think to touch on it, Ed, you can be hard, but you gotta love them also, and I think that's the line that some these coaches don't want to cross. I'm not gonna love my kids. I tell my kids every day I love them. Before they leave practice, I love you guys. I think when your ego gets out of the way and kids know you're invested in them, we're asking as coaches for kids to invest in us, but we got to show them the same thing. We got to show them that we're invested in them also. And I think that was hard. My group last year showed me that. My group last year, I had a wall up, and I'll be the first to admit it. I had a wall up, and they showed me, all right, well, if you're not going to invest in me, I'm not going to invest in you. And as soon as I started really stopped chasing championships and started chasing relationships, wow, this thing blew up. This thing just took off. And that's what I've really focused with this group is building relationships. And I think, for me, coming to practice and stuff, it's made it easier. It's made it, I'm not having to deal with the small things and everything anymore that I don't have to because they're investing in me. I don't have to tell them, hey, you're not coming to practice or the game ready to go. They're coming because they know I'm invested in them. They come and play on a very nice field because I'm invested in them. And I think that's where guys that are saying things have changed. You're chasing championships instead of relationships, not knowing your kid. And it's at the high school level, collegiate level, professional level. It's everywhere. But I am a Yankee fan to some. So Matt, we gotta survive that one.
No, it's tough. But hey, that was so well put by you, Coach. And we're definitely going to keep our fingers crossed for you guys on this journey back to the state playoffs. Got a big one coming up next week in the regional semifinals as the Bruins will take on 5th seeded Deep Run coming up at 6 o'clock over there at Western Branch on Tuesday. All the best to you, my friend. Thank you again for coming on the show, and we'll talk again down the road.
Guys, I appreciate everything you do for high school sports. I mean, I know I'm doing something right when I get a text from you guys and want to come on this thing on Saturday each year. So, again, I appreciate you too as much as you appreciate me. But you guys do an awesome job for high school sports. And, Coach, I wish you the best of luck wherever you turn up.
Thank you, Roland. And go ahead and get another championship, man. You deserve it.
I appreciate it. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Have a great one. That is Roland Wright, the head baseball coach of the Western Branch Bruins, 16-5, 5 consecutive wins, and the recipient of this year's Bud Matheny Award. Well deserved for him and a job well done. We'll come back. More to come here on 757 Saturday Sports Talk, including a team that's closing in on a national championship from the 757. It might be the best kept secret in town. I'm not even sure Ed Young is aware of it. They're going for not 1, not 2, not 3, but their 4th championship, and they're pretty much halfway home to that, plus a conversation with Shawn Church of Green Run High School, and we'll give you some final thoughts on the basketball, hockey finals getting ready to commence in those two sports as we turn the calendar from May to June, and a big announcement too. It's all coming your way on 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Time to pay the bills, though. Let's hear from the sponsors, including one of Ed's favorites to go get some pizza. Where is it, Edward?
Oh, my God. Chicho's, yes. Yeah.
For any athlete, making it to the top sometimes comes with a few steps back. That's why parents count on CHKD Sports Medicine, advanced diagnostics, treatment, and rehabilitation for sports injuries just for young athletes like yours. With convenient locations across Hampton Roads and a whole team of experts here to keep your favorite player at the top of their game. CHKD Sports Medicine. Learn more at chkd.org or call the CHKD Sports Injury Hotline.
CoVA Painting. We don't just paint, we transform spaces. Visit CoVApainting.com or call 757-550-7357 and mention the Sportsplex for 10% off of projects over $1,000.
What's up at DQ? Oh, just the best deal ever! The $7 Bacon Cheeseburger Meal Deal. Bacon cheeseburger for a limited time, plus fries, drink, and a sundae. Yeah, this is not the time to be modest. It's all full size for just $7. And there's bacon on that burger. The $7 Bacon Cheeseburger Meal Deal. Now, for a limited time on the $7 Meal Deal lineup. Only at DQ. Happy tastes good.
What does happiness mean to you?
Being in the ocean with you, watching you catch super fun waves.
In Virginia Beach, happiness is breaking barriers and savoring the sunshine.
I couldn't pick a better place or a better person to be with. This is what makes me happy.
Happiness is going all out.
And taking it all in.
Here, happiness is whatever you make it. Find yours in Virginia Beach.
I grew up here. I know this town. I know the people here. More important, they know me. As a banker at Town Bank, we become part of the communities we serve. The people who bank with us, our members, know us. When you bank with Town Bank, you'll know your banker. You'll know you can reach us, and you'll know we're here for you.
James Catato tells us tonight there's a new team making new noise in the USL2 scene on the other side of the water.
Something special is brewing inside the walls of the Virginia Beach Sportsplex.
We're not here for moral victories. When we're on our day, we're a legit team.
See the stars of the future in pre-professional action at the Virginia Beach Sportsplex. This combined season ticket special is for men's and women's. That's 15 games for just $100 for adults and $80 for youth. VBU has a brand new women's team that competes in the W League. Soccer fans, it's time to rally behind Virginia Beach United. Tickets are on sale now. Visit vbunited.com. Don't miss out on Virginia Beach United.
Can I say something? Yeah.
That's why you're here.
Okay. You know, I've heard from some complaints from the people of San Antonio.
Why would that be?
And they want me to apologize. That's not going to happen.
What they want you to apologize for?
Me joking about those big old women down in San Antonio. So listen, y'all can write letters to your mama, your daddy, your uncle. I'm gonna have fun on television. You know that I'm joking around, but if y'all waiting on me to apologize, hell gonna freeze.
Wait, what are you apologizing for?
There's no big old women down there.
And now back to Matthew Hatfield and the evil basketball coach. Blast you and young!
Charles Barkley, he is a treasure. Oh, there's the steak fry fingers. I forgot to mention earlier, that is the coach, Ed Young, whose nickname is Neapolitan. I'm Matthew Hatfield. You like Neapolitan ice cream, don't you, Ed? Oh, there's the steak fry fingers again. Neapolitan's my new nickname for you.
You know, you're coming in and out.
That's you that's coming in and out. I don't think it's me. It's your audio. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now, but okay. Yeah, we're having some definite issues. Of course, earlier it's my computer.
That's why you got to get on early enough to test these out.
Which is why I'm still waiting for the computer geniuses out there who got a lot to say of what they think is funny. But come on, give me something real, like unmute the mic on the computer. Then that tells me you got some work to yourself.
See, if you stop dropping and breaking things in your house, you'd be all right. You got, the dog knocking over appliances and you running over things. Maybe you need to go to San Antonio, see those big old women. You'll be good to go.
I think the dog just broke something in the other room. I don't know what he's up to. Yeah, Barkley with a San Antonio with the women, he definitely not going to be able to.
He was just there for the Final Four. What you mean?
Yeah, he ain't going to be able to go out in the river walk and be free because one of them big girls is going to knock him into the water. But I've been in San Antonio only once in my life for a Final Four, and what Barkley is saying, I don't concur with. I'll just leave it at that. I'm not sure where he's getting at. I'm not sure where he's been at in San Antonio.
They do have those good churros. They be double fisting those churros. And he said, hey, we got a team from Virginia that is closing in on its 4th national championship. Do you know which school and which sport? Or are you completely in the dark? Even though it looks like you're in the light, you're not in the dark. I don't have as many lights on as I have in my background. You see you can count them in my background. You can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Is it a spring sport?
It is, because obviously fall and winter sports would not be in season. So that's a good job of you to figure that much out.
That helps there. And obviously it's not an AAU or travel team.
No, this is a collegiate team closing in on a national championship. But I guess you haven't been paying close enough attention to them.
Oh, I thought you said high school. Are you saying now?
No, I said it's a national championship outfit. They've won not 1, not 2, they've won 3. They're going for their 4th, and they're almost there with a record of 48-3-1, riding a 17-game winning streak right now after they just beat Linfield University and Randolph-Macon in Bloomington, Illinois.
Could it be Virginia Wesleyan softball?
Look at you. Good job. You didn't even have to Google search that. I'm proud of you after I gave you those hits. Don't shake your head. That was a good job by you. I had to listen. The odds makers had it at 9-1 that you would get that right. So somebody has to pay through the nose. It's not you or me, though.
Yeah, but you have a habit of making a big deal out of things that are not a big deal. So as you were talking, I'm thinking to myself, well, who's done well that doesn't get enough ink because the program should be?
Not a big deal. I think it is a big deal. You said it's not a big deal. This is a big deal going for 4 national championships.
No, you're misinterpreting how I'm saying it.
Well, please enlighten me.
I just made a comment. Virginia Wesleyan softball doesn't get the notoriety it should be, and they should get it because they're that good.
Agree.
And again, it goes under that cloud of, well, they're not Division I. That's not a big deal. And I'm sorry, that's just how it is. And it shouldn't be that way.
That's why I'm making it a big deal. Brandon Elliott, who, by the way, does some of the best videos. If he wins a championship, I know he'll be thrilled to come on with us. He's been on with us for many years over the years in radio. He is just an absolute – first of all, he learned and always pays homage to the greats over there at Virginia Wesleyan, like Joanne Wren, longtime AD over there for many years, like Dave Macedo, men's basketball coach. We just saw Brendan Adair get inducted into the Virginia Sports Hall of Fame, the first Virginia Wesleyan Marlin. I think Macedo's going to follow soon, and I think Brendan Elliott's definitely going to follow soon, whether he gets that fourth national championship or not, whether that fourth natty comes or not. They beat Linfield 8-4. Great job of the lineup. Olivia Knight, 3 for 4 with a double, a couple ribbies. A freshman, Samantha Deitch, had a 2-run double. Mackenzie Myers scored twice, had a 2-run homer, and a 17-game winning streak. They're trying to win their first one since 2017. I'm sorry, their fourth one since 2017. They had one during that COVID stretch. But my goodness, Wesleyan's offense playing really, really well. Now they await to get to the next round. They're going to see to get to the semifinals, they have to play the winner of, I just had it here. Now it would be off me. They take on, they'll have a rematch against either Macon or Linfield on Sunday at noon here. So they're closing in on a spot in the finals. But my goodness, what a job they're doing over there. What a job.
We got to get Brandon on. We got to get Brandon, one of his top players. It'd be neat to also see if they have some of the young ladies from our area contributing to that streak and the success of that program.
Well, I brought it up because he does a thing in the summertime. He goes like 30 straight. Now, he'll talk about it with us. He goes to like 30 different places to get ice cream, and he calls it Ice Cream Every Day. He puts it up on Facebook and videos. I would like to have him and you, a.k.a. Ed Neapolitan Young, go do the ice cream videos, and we'll put them up on CoVA Sports TV. I think it'd be the hit of Hampton Roads and the hit of Virginia. You guys try to now. You might get thrown out of a couple of ice cream parlors. I could see that happening very easily. But Brandon gives grades, I think, on the ice cream. I think you guys should go do that, especially wins the national championship. You should just have a little film crew follow you guys. It'd be great. Ice cream every day. I like it.
One thing, when I go to a different area in the summer, the thing I would look for in terms of ice cream would be who makes the best milkshakes. I'm not so much ice cream cone guy, but who has the best milkshakes? Because I've yet to really find one that's like this is a real milkshake.
Oh, there's a couple. I could definitely give you. Listen, I know you're a milkshake aficionado, but you know what? We changed your nickname from Neapolitan. It's too long to put on the screen to Neo. We're just going to call you Ed Neo Young. And then, you know what? It makes you hip. You'll be hip with the kids when you make your triumphant return to coaching. Why are you shaking your head? Ed Neo Young. We could get you a nice little shirt, backwards ball cap. It could be Ed Neo Young. You'd be the hip. You'd be the old yet new young. And I listen. It's marvelous by me. Marvelous.
It's another one of your dumb come up.
It's not dumb.
Makes
it's wonderful.
No sense. It has the
Listen,
young people.
I said you're Neapolitan because you like all kinds of flavors of ice cream. So Ed Neo Young, it's beautiful.
And number one, that's wrong because there's only ice cream I really like is the original chocolate chip, not that cookie dough mess, not that whatever. And every once in a while, I will dive into some butter pecan, cherry, or strawberry, but not the Neapolitan. The kids are going to look at Neo as the rapper, the R&B guy Neo. That's what they're going to talk about, not Neapolitan ice cream. So if you say Neo to a young kid in high school, 11 out of 10 kids are going to say, "Oh, you're talking about the singer." They're not going to talk about, "Oh, does that mean Neapolitan ice cream?" No. In fact, there's nobody that listens to this show likes Neapolitan ice cream. So you come up with some stuff that does not work. So you got to go back to the drawing board.
You don't like Neo or Neapolitan, okay?
And it just doesn't really work, and nobody knows what it really goes towards. So
I just told you like all kinds of flavors. You just explained you like butter pecan. You like come on. What do we?
Neapolitan ice cream is that kind of ice cream you buy that has.
I know it's vanilla, chocolate, strawberry. Correct. That's multiple flavors. Do you want the technical definition of Neapolitan? Because I will give you that if you want to be. No. You open Pandora's box, so I'm going to go there. Since you wanted to be the wise guy here.
Just talking facts. Nobody wants to know what Neapolitan is.
Yes, they do, because some people don't know. I asked this to somebody last night. They had no idea. So just to give you the quick definition of Neapolitan, hold on here. Now I just had it and I was going to give it to you. Well, you just said ice cream made of different colors, but Neapolitan is a word with several related meanings, all connected to the Italian city of Naples. It can refer to a person from Naples, something related to Naples, or even a specific type of ice cream. There you go. You done? You speechless? Nobody's giving me a better nickname. That's what I'm going with until they give me a better one. So if they give me a better nickname, I'll give it to you. That's fine. I'm asking our audience out there on CoVA Sports TV. Hit us up on YouTube. Hit us up on Facebook. Hit us up on IG, Twitter, X, and we'll give you a better nickname if you are so against that nickname. But I think it's great.
I need somebody to tell me how to get my mic to work on my computer.
Buy a new computer is how you get it to work. That's how you get it to work.
Still paint on this doggone thing. This thing cost me like, what's it, $2,200? I don't know. It's ridiculous.
Well, if you paid $2,200 for that computer, you got hosed.
Well, they tell me it was the not the top of the line, but the next, because I'm not paying $3,000.
Well,
and I'm still
top of the line. If it was top of the line, your mic wouldn't have shut off on you during the start.
Especially when I didn't touch any button to shut it off.
And you better get this. You better. By the way, our buddy Chase Myers texted in. He likes Neapolitan ice cream. He likes the nickname for you. So there you go. We got one vote for Chase. There you go. Take that, Ed. You're already off. You got to find a better nickname. We're gonna go Neapolitan. We'll start calling you Neo, Ed Neo Young. It's kind of catchy too. We're gonna take another timeout. And by the way, you better get your mic fixed because at the end of the show we have an announcement to make regarding next week's show and all the future shows here on CoVA Sports TV, and will soon be seen worldwide beyond just the YouTube stream. That's all on the way. Another quick timeout. This will be a little shorter timeout than the last one, but we will come back with more here on CoVA Sports TV. Again, like, share, and subscribe. You can hit the comment box, the chat box, and like I said, hit that little thing on YouTube with the bell. That means you subscribe, and you'll enjoy it. We'll be back in just a moment.
Did you know that the minimum limits in Virginia are $30,000? $30,000 is a lot of money on an individual basis, but if you're involved in a personal injury matter, that's not enough. Here at Williams-Deloitte, we're happy to provide a consultation on the amount of coverage you have in your vehicle. It can be confusing. Not many people understand it. You know you need to have it, but do you have enough? Give us a call today at 757-547-5555 so we can help you prepare in the case of an automobile accident or any other personal injury matter that you or your family may find yourself in.
For any athlete, making it to the top sometimes comes with a few steps back. That's why there's CHKD Sports Medicine. Advanced diagnostics, treatment, and rehabilitation for sports injuries, just for young athletes like yours.
What's up at DQ? Oh, just the best deal ever. The $7 bacon cheeseburger meal deal. Bacon cheeseburger, fries, drink, and a sundae. No time to be modest. It's all full size for just $7 right now at DQ. Happy tastes good.
Well, it's everybody's favorite time of year again. Time to prepare to make your annual donation to that infernal revenue service. And if you're like me, you need help. Help to keep that donation as small as possible. So get off your W-2 and call John Maynard at John's Tax Service. 455-6763.
As a banker at Town Bank, we believe that people bank with people, not with banks. You're looking for an actual personal relationship, and that's what you get at our bank. You get that person that gets to know you, gets to know your business, is there for you. I think that is what motivates us, what drives us. And the idea that we are trying to serve others and enrich lives, I think is very true.
Hey, all you crazy cats and kids. We're back with joke time. What has more letters than the alphabet? A post office.
Hampton Roads has a long-running high school and college sports tradition. It's time to give them the spotlight they deserve. This is 757 Sports Talk. Here are Matt Hatfield and Coach Ed Young.
And we welcome you back to 757 Saturday Sports Talk here on CoVA Sports TV. Like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel and interact with us wherever you are tuning in on this particular Saturday, the final one of May, the weekend after Memorial Day, and just a couple weekends before Father's Day, Ed. And we've got high school football getting closer and closer. A lot of camps, 7-on-7s, things of that nature, revving up here as we get ready to turn the calendar to June. And come August, there will be a lot of contenders for championships, including one in Virginia Beach on Dahlia Drive, a school that happened to win a state basketball championship, and their football team plans to be very prominently in the mix yet again.
Yeah, you had the opportunity to go over there and watch them do some work, and spoke to one of the outstanding football players in the area this coming season, defensive back Shawn Church of those Stallions of Green Run High School. Let's see what Shawn had to say in his talk with Matt here on CoVA Sports TV.
All right, I'm here with the Green Running class of 2026, three-star corner, 6'3", Shawn Church. He's getting ready for his senior campaign. Hard to believe, Shawn, it's almost your senior season. How's the offseason training going for you and your guys?
I can't believe it. It's came all the way fast. You know, it's a good feeling though. Just getting through my last season, just going through high school, just getting ready for college, just preparing, and just training all over. It's just a good feeling.
Sure. Green Run's kind of been known as a little mini DBU with all the great defensive backs that have come through lately. The guys like Tayon Holloway and Milt Ferguson and so many that have come through lately. How much do you relish being kind of that next guy to kind of be the mantle of the DBs? And what's the mentality that you all have at Green Run to be DBs that can take on the best, if you will?
You know, the mentality that we got is just no let-ups. You know, the more you think about no let-ups, it's going to start coming second nature. You know, I believe in, like, whatever I say is going to come to life. And if I just say to myself, I'm going to be the best on the field, I'm not going to let nothing up. And I'm just going to be the best to every day and every practice and every game. It's just going to come to me naturally. You know, it's not going to sound unbelievable. Sure. You know?
Now, I'm sure you had confidence when you stepped on the field the very first time, but when was kind of that awakening moment where you were like, I can play at the next level, I can be one of the best DBs around, 757 to state? When did it kind of hit you like, all right, I've got a chance to get a bunch of offers and be one of those guys, if you will?
Really, the end of the freshman year, you know, my off season, I really took that serious, and I had to really just lock in on myself and my position. You know, it's just as soon as my freshman year kind of set off the off season, I just trained hard, lifted, trained, speed work. You know, I just did a lot to get where I'm at right now. So it's really just a blessing to know that my work paid off.
And your first offer was from
Virginia Tech.
Virginia Tech. What is it about the Hokies? They've gotten a lot of Green Run guys, and I imagine they're going to be on your list if they aren't already.
Yes, sir. It's a good school. I mean, I hear good things about it from Keelan Adams and Knowledge Harrell, and you know, it's just a good place to go to. You know, they develop us well, and you know, it's just good recruitment.
Yeah, the Hokies up there with Knowledge and Brody and Jaden Anderson. I imagine the one-on-ones, you guys talk a lot of smack back and forth, and it helps get you guys better.
Yeah, it's all love. It's all love. You know, it's just to make us better at the end of the day.
Sure.
You know?
Now, you've taken some visits here. Fill us in on the ones you've been to lately, and anybody stand out among those schools you've checked out?
Visits that I've been to it's a lot.
Okay. Well, hit on a few that stood out if you can. Then.
That stood out. UConn, Virginia Tech, JMU, Liberty, Wake Forest. Really, all of them stood out. You know, they all unique and they all way.
Let's touch on a couple of them if we can. Obviously, Delaware you mentioned as well. You got an official coming up with them, right? I think you've been there once, right?
Yeah, I got an official coming up with Virginia Tech and Liberty.
Okay. What is it? You mentioned UConn's got one of your quarterbacks from this past year, Kassan Farrar, coming up. Tell me about a couple of schools. What stood out about those places, if you will, if you can?
What stood out to UConn was just I really like the place, you know. It's, I like the coach that's there. You know, he seems like he knows what he's doing and knows how to develop me well, and I would trust him a lot.
Okay. And you mentioned Liberty you're going to be going back to, so something had to appeal to you about them, right?
Yeah, Liberty I'm going back to as well. You know, what really stood out to me was how much they focus on weight management and like explosive movements. I really like the head coach there. He taught me a few things. He told me a few things. Virginia Tech is a good school that I like. You know, they just are good. You know, they show a lot of hospitality. You know, just good things all the time over there. So,
a couple more. Let you run, Shawn. What's going to be the deciding factor or factors for you as you kind of whittle it down? You got a bunch of schools that love you and that you like, but ultimately you can only choose one place. What will be the thing that kind of pushes one place over the others, if you will?
Mainly just whoever. That's a good question. I mean, just whichever school that could better me and to get into the next level is like gonna mainly be my ultimate decision. And just you know, I just know whoever I pick, I'm gonna end up having to be there for the 3 to 4 years and lock in with so it's definitely a hard decision, but just taking these visits, just really thinking where I want to go and who I want to spend like the rest of my college years with. You know, and
the development piece is going to be a big deal. Yeah. How about you as a football player? What do you think sets you apart as a DB? What are the things that makes you the priority recruit over other guys that might be looking at the board? What kind of makes you stand out, in your opinion?
In my opinion,
yeah. Your best traits or qualities, if you will, as a DB or football player.
My speed, my ability to read the field. I take a lot in like film dissecting, and like I dissect like a lot of routes and tendencies from a lot of receivers. You know, from us playing in past games. I take pride in not pride. My fault. That's a strong word, but I take I take real confidence in my IQ skills and just reading and knowing the game. And knowing what is what and what to do in what situations, you know, just a smart guy. You know,
sure,
just a smart guy.
No, I can tell you think through things really well. And lastly, give me a thought on this coming season. Goals you have in mind. I know you guys got back on top in the region to win a regionship, beating region championship, beating Salem, lost to Heartbreaker to Moore. I know you guys want to go a step further and get that state ring, right?
Yeah. Most of all on our list is just, you know, we got to get over the hump. Whether it's Maury or any other school, you know, we just got to get a state championship. A goal for me personally is just whatever I do from now should translate to how I would be in college, you know, for the next 3 to 4 years. So I'm just worrying about developing myself just beyond high school and just making sure I'm getting ready for college and getting in season, you know.
Perfect. He's falling out on Friday nights for the Stallions, and he'll be doing it soon on Saturday. Shawn Church, thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
So you heard from Green Run defensive back Shawn Church Jr. to go with the other conversations we've had this offseason so far with Kings Fork's Joshua Pittman, a Virginia Tech commit. Could Church join him in Hokieville, or I should say Blacksburg? We shall see. Lonnie Andrews III, the talented rising junior quarterback from the reigning state champion Oscar Smith Tigers. And the coming weeks, you'll get a chance to hear from Trayvon Litton of Deep Creek, DeAndre Artis-Boone of Kings Fork, Elijah Moss of Maury, Tyrell Grant, quarterback of Nansemond River, Jaden Koval, defensive back from Oscar Smith, and one of Church's Green Run teammates, Cam Johnson, among others, as we count you down to the start of high school football. Sprinkling one or two every week here as we lead you up to it. It is 757 Saturday Sports Talk. He is a lean 6'3", 165-pound defensive back, Ed and Shawn Church Jr. with a 3.85 GPA. And he mentioned a number of schools there like UConn, Virginia Tech, JMU, Liberty, Wake, and Delaware, among others in the picture. Doesn't sound like he's in any quick hurry or decision, rush to make a decision here. But then again, we could see him pop it in the next day or two. That's how these kids are sometimes. They take an official visit and boom, they commit. But your impressions, as the Green Run will be another factor yet again with him playing a big role on defense at corner.
Well, the first thing that hits me is 6'3". That's a pretty tall defensive back. He can get, and when he jumps, obviously he's going to be a lot bigger than that. He's going to have his hands involved in a lot of breakups in pass plays, and he sounds like he's really indecisive, which is okay. As he mentioned at the beginning of his interview, man, my senior year is here, like, wow. So I think he's still processing the fact that here's all these colleges, he's on these campuses, And it's like his head's spinning. Like he's just trying to grasp the fact that he's a senior in high school, and yet we have him trying to go to a certain school, hurry up and be a freshman. And then he's thinking about, well, who can help me become a pro, next level for that? That's a lot on a kid. And we always tell the kids, just take care of today right now. I mean, have a plan, know where you're going, have something guiding you, but take care of today. Enjoy being a kid. And I think he's a lot of your interviews that I've seen, this is the one that's really caught up in all of that and doesn't know which way to turn. Obviously, he's a very bright youngster at 3.8. He gets it done in the classroom, and he gets it done on the field. So he just has to concentrate right now on himself, let things happen as they can. Hopefully he's not being pressured. Sounds like Virginia Tech would be his pick. But when he was talking, I don't know why I say this, JMU popped in my head as JMU guy. He's going to play every down on defense. JMU would be the place to go. But then again, I'm just spouting off the top of my head. He's got to make that decision. But he'll be a good one for the Stallions.
Well, they had a guy go to JMU at defensive back in Milton Ferguson that we talked about from Green Run not too long ago. And some other guys at the Hokies have landed from Green Run, like Keelan Brody Adams, Jaden Anderson, a couple of wide receivers, Knowledge Harrell, a defensive back. There's a little bit of a pipeline being built with those two, Green Run to Virginia Tech, that movement, if you will. All right, one more quick timeout, and then we will come back and put the finishing touches. This will be a shorter timeout here on 757 Saturday Sports Talk on CoVA Sports TV, because we will come back, tell you what announcement we have that is cooking, but we'll also do a funsy one. We haven't done this. We're going to do a 5, and I'll show it on the screen if Edward can't get his technology devices working. A little 5-leg home run parlay for the day. We'll see if either one of us can connect and go yard, not once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, but 5 times on a 5-legger today, and give you our hockey and basketball picks, leading you through the championship rounds in each of those 2 sports. It's all coming your way after we hear a word or two. Stay tuned.
Hampton Roads has a long-running high school and college sports tradition. It's time to give them the spotlight they deserve. This is 757 Sports Talk.
Usually it's Hatfield. That's why I try to tell everybody, get on Hatfield. He is the legal scribe, the talking head that knows all this, puts the whammies on. We do things different on this podcast. That's why we're rated number 3 in the state.
You got Play-Doh? Get out of here! We got people all over the globe watching with us. Sitting in a phone booth with you would be very... we
got to have your own phone booth. I'm not sitting in a phone booth with you.
It is 757 Saturday Sports Talk here on CoVA Sports TV. Like, share, and subscribe.
Did you know that the minimum limits in Virginia are $30,000? $30,000 is a lot of money on an individual basis. But if you're involved in a personal injury matter, that's not enough. Here at Williams-Deloitte, we're happy to provide a consultation on the amount of coverage you have in your vehicle. It can be confusing. Not many people understand it. You know you need to have it, but do you have enough? Give us a call today at 757-547-5555 so we can help you prepare in the case of an automobile accident or any other personal injury matter that you or your family may find yourself in.
What makes a life a good one? Is it our adventures? Or the friends we find along the way? Is it the challenges we conquer together? Maybe it's the people's lives we touch every single day. So, what makes a life a good one? You'll have to figure that one out for yourself.
Do you know the difference between the truth and a lie?
Yes.
Tell me the difference.
A lie is a story that you make up, and the truth is what happened.
If I were to hold up this object and tell you that this was an elephant, would that be the truth or a lie?
A lie.
If I were to tell you that my court officer was a short, fat, bald guy, would that be the truth or a lie?
A lie.
Now, if I were to tell you that the judge in this case is a young, beautiful woman, would that be the truth or a lie?
The truth.
Yes.
The thing about you two is you never shut up. If you listen to you guys, there's always pearls of wisdom coming out of them ruby lips somewhere. And that's the way it's supposed to be.
Hampton Roads has a long-running high school and college sports tradition. It's time to give them the spotlight they deserve. This is 757 Sports Talk. Here are Matt Hatfield and Coach Ed Young.
All right, we're back on this final Saturday of May, the year 2025. You're always welcome to interact with us on CoVA Sports TV. Like, share, and subscribe to the YouTube channel, and you'll have all kinds of fun doing just that. All right, Ed, we mentioned it earlier. It's time now for our five-legger, our baseball home run parlay extravaganza. I have five homer guys in mind for this particular day, and you can pick them from any games you like, but I will show them to you on the screen if you don't have any five in mind. Would you like to go first, or let me go first on this five-leg extravaganza, as we also show you on the screen right now the baseball slate for today in the major leagues?
Okay, I haven't gone. I can't get to the
Well, there you go. We'll zoom in for you. So you have obviously the Cubs in action today. There are your options for guys you can pick if you want to take someone in the Cubs and Reds game, which I will. I already have my five ready. You want me to give you my five?
Yeah, I'm still looking. So
I've got Kyle Tucker in one. So that's one. Toronto against the A's, and the Blue Jays have been killing them, the double-digit runs each of the last two games. They got double-digit runs early the game before yesterday, and Ernie Clement went yard in yesterday's game, as did Addison Barger. But I'm going to stay away from him and go with George Springer to go with Kyle Tucker. So we got, don't call him Jerry, George Springer. The O's and the White Sox, yeah, I like a guy in this game too. Give me, believe it or not, I'm walking on air, Adley Rutschman to go yard, a former Norfolk Tide. That gives me three guys. I'm going to skip Texas St. Louis. Do have a hunch, though, that Brendan Donovan could be a good price at plus 680 to go deep. Phillies and Brewers, I think the Phils will respond from yesterday's loss. And the guy going yard for them will be Mad Max Kepler at plus 560. No Bryce Harper in the lineup for them. So that gives us, is that four guys for me? I think it gives me four guys now, right? I think that gives me four guys. So I got one more guy to pick. Do I want to go with the Yankee-Dodger game? No, I'll probably skip that. I'll go to Cleveland and the Angels. And you know what? I do have an affinity for my man, Jose Ramirez, who hit three off the pitcher that went yesterday for the Angels in Soriano, but not in yesterday's game. He did it in a game back in April. I think Jose will go yard in the game coming up on Saturday today. So there you go. Those are the five. Tucker, Springer, Rutschman, Kepler, Ramirez. $1, Ed, wins you $10,729.65. There's my five. All right. Oh, price just changed. Look at that. $11,064.98. Go to the window. It's like buying a horsey. Win, play, show. All right. You're up. We get to get your selections. You ready to go do this? Or are you still perusing the options?
Well,
you got Royals, Tigers. You have Mets, Rockies.
Hold on.
Rays, Astros.
Go back to the beginning.
The very beginning. You want to go to the first game, which was Cubs and Reds. Anybody on the board you like there?
Yeah.
I took Tucker. You can take him if you like. You can take somebody else, or you can pass. You can say pass next game.
Yeah, let's go next game.
Okay, he passes. No homers, he says. A's and J's.
Give me Brett Rooker.
You want Rooker. Okay, he's going with the Rooker. Hooker by Crooker. How about Orioles and White Sox?
Give me O'Hearn.
You're going to go with O'Hearn, okay, at plus 450. He's not going to take Josh Palacios, who struck out to end the game yesterday against Felix Bautista, King Felix for the O's. Rangers and Cardinals. Rangers put up 11 on the board on Friday night, just like Toronto. It wasn't the most runs in any game, though. It ended up being Minnesota with 12 as they put up a bunch in the 9th and 10th innings to rally past Seattle on the road. Anybody in that game you like, or you want to pass?
Pass.
Marcus Semien went yard yesterday. Phils and Brew Crew. Milwaukee trying to get 2 in a row off Philadelphia on the road. Kyle Schwarber has been a home run machine.
Pass.
All right. Pass, he says. Doesn't like it. Angels and Guardians. Tell you what, Taylor Ward's been hitting a lot of homers. He has a couple grand slams here in the spring. You like anybody in that game, or are you going to pass again? It's looking hard at somebody, folks.
Yeah, pass.
Pass. Wow. He's wanting to get that Yankee game. Tigers and the Royals. Detroit, a team in position to get the best record in baseball this season. We'll see if they get there. But Riley Green is a trendy choice. So is Spencer Torkelson to go yard. Royals, Salvador Perez, and Bobby Witt Jr., who was an MVP candidate last year, would have probably got it if not for Aaron Judge's ridiculous numbers, and probably won't get it again this year because Aaron Judge's ridiculous numbers.
I got a feeling there's going to be a few in this game.
A few? Well, then if there's a few you could sprinkle, you have 3 guys to pick left, so you could take one here.
Give me Perez.
He says take Salvi. Salvi. All right. Mets and Rockies. You know the Rockies can give them up with the best of them. Yesterday, Francisco Lindor hit a home run early in the ballgame for the Mets, who held off Colorado. Does Soto get out of his funk, or do you pass on this game? And what do you think? So far, you got Rooker, O'Hearn, and Salvador Perez.
Is this game in New York or in Colorado?
In New York, not Colorado. Yankees were in Colorado last weekend. Sounds like a pass to you. You're taking a long time.
Yeah.
Astros and Rays. Your guy Brandon Lau at plus 400 out of Nance Minerva High School, sitting there high on the board. Don't feel good about it, though.
No, I don't. No.
Okay, you want to pass?
Yeah, we go.
Giants and Marlins. Mike, don't call me Cal Yastrzemski. Yaz's grandson.
Give me Adames.
Ooh, you like Adames. I think you're going to take Carl Yastrzemski's grandson. You're going to take Willie Adames instead at plus 540. So we got one more guy to pick. You could save it for your Yankee-Dodger game. Braves and Red Sox. Atlanta couldn't shut them down on Friday. We'll try to on Saturday. A lot of guys can go yard in this game, including Ronald Acuna Jr., who's come back and hit a couple already. Is this a pass or a take? You got one more to take.
Well, you know who I'm looking to hit one out.
Who?
Ohtani.
Well, we can get to that game. You want to go to that game? But that's next on the board. This is your last game. You got Judge, Ohtani, Grisham, Muncy, Bellinger, and a whole smear of guys. Ohtani at look at the odds, plus 182, and Judge at plus 144. You got one guy left to pick in your 5-legger. You want to take it in this game, or you want to go elsewhere?
I think Ohtani. I think he's going to have a great series. Hit 2 yesterday. I think he's going to hit 1 today.
All right, so he goes with Ohtani. Let's see if his dollar wins, folks. He's got to recap Rooker, O'Hearn, Perez, Adames, and Ohtani. It wins you $2,750.60, which is a far cry from the $1,164.98, I think, what I was showing. But we'll put it in and see if it prevails for the coach, as that is our 5-legger baseball parlay extravaganza. We'll do this again probably in a month or two. Do it every couple of months so people get a little appetite for it. So there you have it. As we are just about out of time, do want to make a quick announcement before we make our hockey and basketball championship picks here. Starting next week, our show is scheduled to be airing throughout the week on Cox TV on your view. So if you have any Cox television outfit that you watch, if you have it in your cable system, we will be airing on your television screen the first hour of the show throughout the weeks. So check your local listings to see, and your guide to see when we come on, and you can see yours truly and the coach during the week. Thanks to the great folks at YourView. That'll be starting next Saturday. The first hour of the show will be operating a little bit differently to fit the television format and programming of how we will be doing this show, but a chance to catch some more eyeballs, new eyeballs, and interact with a new audience out there. In addition to those that are still watching with us, we will remain on with our 1.5 to 2 hour standard program for much of the summer into the fall, although the couple of weeks after next week will be on the road. I know I will be in Springfield and Richmond in the end of June. So we might have to alter some of the show plans those particular Saturdays. We'll see how that goes as we get closer to it. But as always, the show is available live and on demand through CoVA Sports TV on YouTube. So hit that subscribe button, the share button, and of course the like button as well. So there you have it. We will be coming to a TV screen near you, literally through CoVA Sports TV and the fine people at Cox Communications in YourView.
Good stuff. Good stuff. We've been waiting for it. Looks like now it's going to get out of the starting block. So excited for it. It's going to be something to hopefully get more eyes out here. And also, people, we need more sponsorship. We need more sponsorship. So please consider sponsoring the show. We get you a good price. Either contact Matt or myself, and we'll get you a good price to be seen worldwide.
All right, Ed, so before we sign off, hockey's finals are set. Those Stanley Cup games will begin with game number 1 coming up on Wednesday in Canada as Edmonton's Oilers play host to the Florida Panthers. It'll follow with a game number 2 on Friday, a game number 3 on June the 9th, game 4 on Thursday, June 12th, and then if necessary, 5, 6, and 7. The last 2 series in hockey were quick 5-gamers, as Edmonton responded from a Game 1 loss to Dallas by winning 4 straight, and the gentleman's sweep, if you will, was delivered by Florida, the reigning champ, to Carolina, winning all 3 games in the Tar Heel State, plus a split on home ice in the Sunshine State. What do you have? Panthers, Oilers, do Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. I said Drysdale. I combined Leon Draisaitl with Don Drysdale. Do Connor McDavid and his running mate over there in Edmonton and Leon Draisaitl, regarded as maybe the best duo in the sport, finally climb the mountain and win the championship after losing last year to Florida, or do the Panthers make it back-to-back?
Well, seeing that I picked the Panthers when it all started to win it.
I don't think you did. You changed your pick like 17 different times, but go ahead.
I'm going with Edmonton in 7.
Really? That surprises me.
I want Florida to win it, but I'm thinking Edmonton in 7 games.
Wow. Well, remember 2 years ago, they were beaten, Florida, by Vegas. They responded last year with the 7-gamer, up 3-love. It got tied 3 apiece and they won game 7. But I'm actually with you on the same page. I think Edmonton wins this in 7. So I'm surprised you have the same selection as me here. For the last thing here, the NBA Finals, Oklahoma City is set to host that coming up on Thursday on ABC. We'll see if there's a game number 7, Knicks-Pacers, coming up on Monday night. If New York is able to win in Indiana tonight, you said you like the Pacers tonight. I do too. So that gives us Pacers-Thunder. Even if it is Knicks-Thunder, I think OKC is winning the championship in 5 games. 5. Could be a sweep in 4. But I do not see them losing twice the way they are playing on another level defensively, with Lou Dort to complement the brilliance of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, the MVP. And then you've got the number 2 and number 3 options performing much better now in the latter rounds of these playoffs in Jalen Williams and Chet Holmgren. So I like the Thunder to deliver thunder, lightning, all kinds of stormy weather to whoever comes out of the East, be it the Pacers or the Knicks.
Yeah, I think Pacers win it tonight and then go into playing Oklahoma City for the title. I would go Oklahoma City in 6. I hope the Knicks can come back and win it. And if they play the Thunder, it would still be Thunder in 6.
Okay. So that's going to do it. We thank our guests, our interviews from the likes of Colin Selby talking to Jack Lowe, Roland Wright, head baseball coach of Western Branch, Shawn Church at Green Run, and so much more. The tweeters, the followers, the posters out there, all the viewers. This has been another edition of 757 Saturday Sports Talk, powered by CoVA Sports TV, and we will talk to you next week and next month as we turn it from May to June right here on CoVA Sports TV. See you then, folks. Have a good one.